time here at Force 13 HQ, 11:01 in the evening. It's 10:01 on the Universal Clock as we enter late Sunday night into Monday morning shortly. It is already Monday morning over in Japan, where we've got Typhoon Noru. I'm afraid you can't see me right now because my primary webcam is not working, but this one is here where you can see where I am in the studio right now, a very dark studio at that. Sometimes I like it a bit darker than usual with just the screens, but there we go. That's just my preferences. We've also got the Skype team during this hour. They haven't gone anywhere. They're all still here. David, Dane, Hank, Isaac, Craig and Orlando. The same setup we had at the start of the first hour. If you've got any comments or questions for us whilst on the air, do let us know. Potential Tropical Cyclone 7 formed an hour ago, and at that point it had winds of 35 miles an hour and a pressure of 1008 millibars. Tropical storm warnings in effect for most of, if not all of, the Yucatan Peninsula, with tropical storm warnings for the northernmost part of Belize. Well, as we enter this hour, who'd like to go first? Don't jump up at once.
Jump up at once.
Yes.
Damn. Who's going first?
Well, obviously 99.0 is real. I don't have screen share capabilities on my phone here, but obviously 99. Oh dear.
PTC 7.
90L. Yeah, PTC 7 is something that needs to be watched, and then Noru, of course, really close to the Japanese mainland right now. I think Visible's over it right now as we speak. Over Noru, and I think Joss Morgerman, iCyclone, was near the eye wall of the storm, so we'll see what kind of footage he gets out of it. And that's what they all have to say right now. So if Hank or anyone else wants to take over, they could go ahead.
Yeah, well, what we've seen so far in terms of wind speeds from this storm, it looks impressive, but what we're seeing on land is only 60 miles an hour, which would possibly lend credence that JMA might be right that it's only 70 miles an hour, but looks stronger.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Because especially in Japan, you got these really mountainous terrain, and that causes significant frictional forcing with the wind speeds. So when that happens...
But these stations are along the coast.
Even then, you can't really get much of a difference than what the oceanic wind speeds are compared to what they are on the terrain. It really doesn't matter, honestly, where the storm is located. You got it. If you have wind speeds at hurricane force on land, that means probably you're dealing with a Category 2 system. And if you have sustained winds, at least of 60 miles an hour, then 75 miles an hour, that's probably a safe bet.
But the area that just recorded the 60 mile an hour winds is in the northeastern quadrant as well.
That's interesting.
It's just about getting into the northeastern quadrant now, but that's curious that it was 60 miles an hour earlier and it's gone down to about 49 in this hour.
So it looks like whatever eye that Noro had, which was well defined on the earlier frames, the eye just seems to be like completely falling apart.
Really?
Well, that's a trick. Probably a trick of the visible imagery, really.
Well, could someone possibly bring up the radar imagery? Because we've not... we see a little bit of the radar in the bottom left-hand panel there, but if anyone's got a close-up of that, that'd be very much helpful to all of us here.
Second. I don't really have...
So let me see if I can find something.
Here's the question.
This is a JMA.
I got it.
I want to challenge here. Is there anyone who thinks potential Tropical Cyclone 7 won't develop? No.
No.
Alright.
There's radar.
Who here
Foghorn.
thinks 99L?
99L.
Ah. Gross.
There's one video I would post, but I am not going to post it. Describes it perfectly.
So I got an interesting question during the break. How many Category 5 storms do you reckon will form this year, and what basins?
I have no idea.
Maybe one of the Atlantic, maybe one of the East Pac, Parks.
I think definitely potential for a Cat 5 in the Atlantic again this year. Caribbean base, I should think. Or Gulf of Mexico, you never know. And then I think we'll get at least another in September, October in the West Pacific. I think we might be done in the East Pac. Cat 5s don't always happen there, but you never know.
Cat 5's, logically speaking, Cat 5 is more likely to happen in August and September in the Eastern Pacific.
And North Indian, you never know what might happen there too.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know what.
Yeah, whatever.
North Indian equals yeah, whatever. Over in Hack's World over there.
Well, not entirely, because when you get a storm over there, you gotta watch it. But for right now, it's in a down. It's in a down phase there, so that's not really to watch.
And speaking about the North Indian, it's also been a 10th year anniversary of Cyclone Gonu over there as well.
Gonu was back in June.
Yeah, but I mean, 10 years since it's been there.
Someone asked, do you think
yeah.
the East Pacific will get the Greek names?
No.
Wow, interesting question. Is
What?
that for real?
Yeah,
never happened
that's
before.
an actual question in the
Never
actual
happened
chat.
before.
Yeah.
You baffled everyone here, whoever that was.
It was Captain Will 1.
Sorry, Captain
July?
Will, you baffled everyone. Sorry?
July in the Eastern Pacific does not equal July in the Atlantic. July is a lot more active in the Eastern Pacific during the month of July.
There's another question. Will 7 go into the Pacific? We had that already.
Haven't we already answered that question?
Well, sometimes we have to re-answer questions as people tune in and out.
Yeah.
It's too far out. Let's not focus on that. We gotta focus on...
Yeah, whatever he said.
Whatever he said.
Who should we speak to next? I don't know who we've not spoken to for a while. Who wants to speak next?
I'm not alive.
Okay, Dane.
Good lord.
Dane's just spoken.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have bad memory.
Will the cyclone go to Jupiter?
He must mean Jupiter, Florida. 99L.
Good.
The cyclone's going to Jupiter.
Do I hear rain on someone's audio?
Well, there's rain here as well. You can see it really clouding up the lens there, but
there's
not so great here.
a light rain here.
Yes.
I'm getting thunder rain. Oh, nice.
If you've got any more questions for us whilst on the air, do let us know right now. Send in a message. Start it with Force13 all in text, and we'll respond. We love answering your questions, really, even if they are silly sometimes. Not naming any names or anything, but we look forward to those. And obviously, if there's any breaking news that comes in, there isn't really anything going on at the moment, so that's why we're sort of stumbling a little bit, but stumbling's quite fun. We're just watching the latest radar of Nauru on its last legs, maybe? Who knows? But did we look at models for the West Pac? And we did briefly, didn't we?
Yeah.
And
I don't think...
GFS and HWRF, are they still saying that Nauru will turn south?
It might be. Let me check. And zoom out. Okay.
Dean says
So
Force 13 only had 5 this year. Well, unofficially, yes, there was. Ernie was clear.
Oh, yes.
5.
oh yeah, Ernie. Forgot. Yeah, so Nora was probably the second.
Yeah.
We think that
Look at-
Ernie was definitely a Cat 5. Initially we said Inawa was as well, but we revised down to 155.
Yeah.
But
Look at Ernie's images. And
Ernie would
I
have
don't know where they got 150. That looks like a Cat 5, no question, really, in my mind.
Yeah,
It's kind of like
nuts.
like Igor for me is just like, how the hell do you think that was a 4? But anyways,
I think it was
back
more
on-
clear cut than Igor.
It's like
potentially.
not 10. It's like not 10. It was 105 miles per hour, and it should have been a 5.
Not
Oh my-
10, yeah.
So yeah, this is the GFS showing Noru as probably some sort of post-tropical.
Yeah, there it goes. Do a little loop around itself there again.
Yeah, just not really moving. God, can this thing just die already? And then nothing
No, it
else.
can't.
Nothing else in the rest of the Western Pacific. If I can move back farther, respond with me. Thank you very much. Show ECMWF. Come on, please work.
There it goes.
Also showing Nora moving as a post-tropical remnant and not producing anything else. CMC, if you do typhoon on this, I will. Then we will just go back to the current status. Okay. So this is what the CMC is saying. It's slowly but surely coming out, showing Nora moving pretty much right down the spine of Japan and moving out into, well, really it's merging with something to the northeast of Japan and then moving slowly towards the north and east. Map down is probably showing something quite similar, probably. And let's see. Most likely moving in on out to sea, east of Japan. Apologies for the dog. And, yeah, just moving out
Yeah,
towards the
off it
northeast.
goes. Post-tropical long gone there. Just some more stuff. Let's see. Will there be any hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico?
Well, I mean, if PTC 7 isn't anything, then I don't know what is.
Oh, you could also be about to be witnessing one.
Apart from that, yeah, I think there will be more.
And
I mean-
will any storms hit Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, you've already had 2, so I think you
know.
just
How many more do you want?
yeah. Yeah,
Unlikely.
I've seen people drawing comparisons with 2013 because at one point it didn't look like 99L or 90L would develop, and people were getting, pissy and stuff. So they said, "Oh, it's going to be 2013." I doubt-
Which storm name were we up to by this point in 2013?
I think I think Dorian just dissipated, and we were going
Oh,
into
gee.
Aaron. Aaron didn't form to like mid-August.
Okay,
So,
it's almost caught up to us.
and if you look at the sea surface temperature comparisons, it's the amount of water in the North
No,
Atlantic.
it's much different this year.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think that-
a very interesting setup that we've got in the Atlantic plus Pacific this year. It's got elements of 2010 and 2016, but it's no real direct comparison, and it's going to be. It's got no real analog this year, to be honest, has it?
Yeah, I think probably something we're probably going to see a bunch of fish storms, and then during the Cape Verde season. But then once we get towards October, we really got to watch the Caribbean and Gulf, anything that or any other Caribbean countries. Just simply due to just some factors in the Atlantic. It's kind of off topic. Don't really want to go into why I think that. And I'm still holding on to my 14 to 16 name storms. I don't care that we've had our 5 storms already. I think that those.
I think that's still
14
sensible.
I mean, Emily came out of nowhere. Dawn came out of nowhere. So what else can I say? Really, the last decent system we had was Cindy. Not really. Anyways, back on track.
It's just
Let's-
another question here. How much rain do you predict for Central Texas based on models at this point?
Oh
Well-
my god.
Well, I live in Central Texas, so we're supposed to have some rain tomorrow, and we could have up to, say, 4 inches of rain by the time that week is done, but most of the rain should be focused up towards North Texas. If we're talking direct impacts, well, at the time would probably be Franklin.
And I live in South Central Texas.
We probably wouldn't see much at all from it. Maybe a couple streamer, cirrus clouds.
How much rain did you two get in Cindy?
None.
I didn't get
None.
any at all.
None
all I
on
just
the
got was
western
just
side.
It
all I
was
just got was
cloud
maybe
30 minutes for me, but that's it.
no, all I got was like maybe 2 hours of cloud cover, but like really light cloud cover, and that was it. And then it went and died.
Last storm I got any impacts from was Bill.
Wow.
For me, it was Alex, or 2010, I think.
Alex. Oh.
Yeah, I
So
got
you
I got
didn't get from
I got some rain from Alex.
Did Hermine
What about-
happen?
Oh yeah. I keep forgetting about that one. I don't know why. Yeah, I got a pretty good amount of rain from Hermine too.
We got 17 inches from Hermine, and probably in some areas are actually still. I actually think that's a pretty underrated storm. Like seriously, there's some places where I used to live that are still rebuilding from those floods.
And David, I see you're posting rain estimates from PTC7. Do you want to share?
Okay, that's the latest from the National Hurricane Center. Rainfall amounts of 3 to 6 inches, isolated amounts of around 12 inches possible across the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico and Belize through Wednesday, and these rains could produce life-threatening flash floods. Wind tropical storm conditions expected to begin in portions of the warning area Monday afternoon or evening, and tropical storm conditions possible in portions of the watch area by Monday afternoon. And the next advisory is 8 p.m. EDT.
Here's another question. Will Franklin be like a Cindy storm or an organised storm?
An organized Cindy storm.
Yeah, an organised storm or a Cindy storm?
Neither. Well, organized. Cindy was awful.
Cindy was interesting to watch, wasn't it? 4, if not 5 different vortices in its centre.
It wasn't Colin. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it was just very curious.
At least there was a modified tropical storm. Let's put it that way.
Reminded me almost of one of those extraterrestrial storms. Can't remember which planet now.
What?
I know, just
Jupiter.
Just seems so odd.
Someone did ask earlier whether we believe in aliens.
That's why I brought that in.
So let's stay on topic here, and I'm just going to go under
Please.
I'm going to just really quickly go through some scenarios with PT7. So this is the system right now, right here. And it's been moving out of the Caribbean. It's moving in this general direction right here. And there could be some sort of swirl in this area, likely not closed yet. Recon is supposed to go into the system tomorrow, and we could get something out of that. But I'd ask ASCAT and other surface observations from buoys to determine if this thing actually has a closed center or not. For the time being, it probably does not, but it probably will. And just to remind you, NHC has an 80% chance of development within the next 2 days and 90% in 5 days, and by then Mexico. So this thing is pretty much going to develop.
I think it'll have a center by tomorrow, have a closed circulation.
Yeah. So in general, the NHC predicts it will take a track into the Yucatan. That was awful. Into the central/northern Yucatan, and then into the Bay of Campeche, into the central Gulf of Mexico, coast of Mexico, I guess. And the reason and there were some models that were suggesting something potentially similar to this, which would have been the Earl of last year. But recently, all of this convection that's been popping up with 9L has been helping to erode this ridge over the Gulf, and you can tell it's there because there really isn't much cloud cover at all over the Gulf of Mexico, as you can see here. There really isn't much at all. So, because of this, it's helping to kind of erode this ridge kind of and have it more like this instead of like this. So it's not much, but it's but it can be crucial because if you have a ridge that dips in kind of like this, then it will have to steer the storm further south and potentially, and it'll make it move over the Gay Campeche still, but in less warm water. And that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2 is if you have the ridge weaker, which is likely what's to happen because the convection is eroding at it, then the storm is allowed to move further north, and one, that gives it more time over the Western Caribbean, and hence probably will move it inland as a stronger system. But secondly, and probably more importantly, it has much more warm water out here to sustain itself with. That and the shear should be pretty much negligible by this point. So it could continue moving towards the west and potentially get up to a hurricane, even at Category 2 if it's lucky enough and has enough odds on its favor. And it could be a pretty memorable system. That's scenario 2, and the one I think is more likely. Current analogs of the system that I can think of off the top of my head, Diana of 1990, which took a track pretty much like this. That was an awful reliable. And yeah, pretty much like what the storm's probably going to take. Another one was Ella, that Orlando mentioned earlier, that took something kind of like that, I believe. More recent examples, let's say Ernesto of 2012. That moved in pretty much similar to the Yucatan, but then dipped a little bit southwest. Same thing with Carl, except Carl formed in this area as well and was in mid-September. People like to think of Earl, which moved into the east, and then the big paycheck.
Hey, some people want to know a little bit about 99L again. Well, can we look at it right now? It looks awful, I've been told.
Yeah, let's change parameters right here. So this is what 99L is looking like.
Get ready.
Please your
Curry
eyes.
buckets.
Where is it?
Curry buckets. Where's your buckets?
This
It's
right
that?
here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm puking. Bye. Okay, I'm going to puke. Okay, bye.
This thing actually did look pretty good as it was coming up close to Mexico. I was almost convinced this thing was going to develop. Obviously, I jinxed that, and it's probably going to be moving into this general area right here, which, if you are already aware, it's basically a place where there is literally zero chance of slack world developing at this time of year in this type of conditions. And because of that, it has a very low chance of developing, in my opinion. But there is a potential. The thing could slip a little bit further north than what we're saying, and could move into this area of the Atlantic, which is normally
you never
really
know what might happen there.
You never know. So that's why I have some sort of, question marks out in the future past a week.
Martinez says kiss 99L goodbye.
Yeah, so it's not done yet. We know the 99Ls have a horrible reputation. Last year's it became a Hermine was just torture, and this probably won't be as bad, but you never know.
Ouch.
In fact, I hate to say it, but the one that became Hermine and this one looked pretty similar in this position with very little cloud cover, and everyone thought it didn't have a chance in hell, and you never know. So, excuse my language, that was uncalled for. But yeah, this thing shouldn't have too big of a risk of development. If you're curious, Emily's remnants are nowhere to be found out here, and this thing right here is the main player, which will probably move into that. So that's the current situation with all of that fun stuff. Just really briefly, just to mention this. If you see that very faint, kind of a figure right, that's the remnants of a tropical depression, which
Did
was
we have to go there?
Yes, we did. And okay, and it moved in this general direction right here, kind of close to Socorro Island right here, but didn't obviously do anything. And now it's just a naked swirl out here, and that's pretty much all to be said. And if anybody, for whatever reason, was curious, Irwin, that's it.
Oh no.
That's Irwin right there. If anyone,
happy face. I think a happy face to me for some reason.
Win.
Pretty badly done.
Okay. Hey, one or two people want to know about how to get involved with the project. Well, I mean, there's several ways to get involved in the project, to be honest, but you can always start by adding myself on Skype or Discord at Fool13 at extension 9094 on Discord. We have chat rooms on both Skype and Discord as well, and we will be working on the website, which is under more reconstruction right now. I can hear someone over there in the background, and hopefully we'll have some new sections for people who want to talk more in text about what's going on as the season progresses.
I've got an update for you on Nauru.
Go ahead.
CNN is reporting that Typhoon Nobu has already dropped up to 600 millimeters, 24 inches in Japan, with numerous landslides and 210,000 evacuated.
So there we are. Interesting. Certainly over 7 or 8 inches in a 24-hour period in southern Kyushu, and possibly, I reckon, more rain would have fallen over those islands south of Kyushu as well. So certainly significant amounts of rainfall. I reckon the most would have fallen on those islands south of Kyushu. Could be breaking 24 inches. And rainfall continuing along the coastline there as well. Maybe an inch an hour perhaps in some places at times. No one's showing... Oh, what we're looking at here.
I'm going to pull up this one source really quick. I don't think it will, but it's working. My computer's a bit... whatever. And here...
Has ASCAT finished?
Axis right here that's becoming more orientally tilted as opposed to...
Well, that doesn't look so impressive on this view.
Well, it's because it's the GFS initialization.
Yeah.
And normally doesn't have a very good initialization. I mean, this looks better than this initialized, which was a very weak analysis. So, in reality, cannot access ASCAT. Don't ask me why, because I don't know myself. I don't think it's coming out soon now.
ASCAT. Oh.
So, yeah, that's probably something that we might need to watch out for, because that could reveal in a couple hours if we do not have a proper pressing board troubles within the next couple of hours.
Yeah, we're struggling to hear you a little bit again over there, Hank. Sounds a little bit muffled.
I think it's being drowned out.
Sorry about that, but if you guys are curious, the next name is Franklin. Rather Mexico Storm, but regardless, it could be a pretty significant one. After Franklin is Gert, very ugly name.
Hope no one called Gert is watching our stream right now. Otherwise we'll lose a subscriber or two, Hank.
Sorry, Gert.
Great work.
Sorry, Gert.
I wonder how many Matthews are watching.
I know quite a few.
There were 1 or 2 back when we were doing the Matthew streams who were named Matthew. We probably had a Patricia or 2 as well.
Matthew's actually a pretty common name, so.
Certainly is. Can we look at what 99L looks like on that graphic?
I probably can't even decipher it.
Yeah, well, it's somewhere around 40 west. Good lord.
Let's see.
40 west and 10 north in that vicinity.
The circulation that could.
It's just a really elongated monsoon trough, really.
Ooh.
Looks awful. I mean, if you look at, if I can pull up the vorticity signature right here, just look at that. That's terrible. If I can, actually, it might actually give us some more up-to-date information. But I have. Yeah, it looks pretty terrible. Yeah, it's trying to break off a little bit right here, but it's still going to be terrible regardless. It looks like a peanut, really. Meanwhile, 90L over here is it's looking better.
Potential Strawberry Cyclone 7 looking. I did it again. Potential Cyclone 7 looking good.
And
That's
let's
potential.
And while we're looking at this, we might as well check some parameters here. Mid shear, not going to be an issue. Wind shear, not really an issue.
Hey, one thing we've not looked at yet is sea surface temperatures.
Oh, they're boiling
Yeah.
right now. In the
31 to 32 Celsius, I think it was, in the western Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, I don't normally like to use CDAS, but this is the easiest thing I have right now. Look at that. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Those are some areas potentially getting up to 32 degrees Celsius.
And
Like
that's where potential PTC 7 is heading
I
into
can't
those waters
recall very
too.
often that the Gulf of Mexico is warmer than the Western Caribbean.
Yeah, well, last year was also on fire, so I guess it's just continuation maybe. And also, oceanic heat content.
Well, it's been so long since there was a significant hurricane over there in the Gulf.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But if you look,
Californian mapping asked if Nora was ever even a Category 5.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it was.
it had that look to it, and then the satellite presentation showed that it was most likely a 5.
But anyways,
And that's the reason why it was a Cat 5.
oceanic heat content values in the Western Caribbean are pretty high. They're not as high in the Gulf, but their overall temperatures are higher, so that equates itself and pretty much negates any extra negative values. And basically what I'm saying is that this storm is in a pretty favorable environment. I don't think there's too much dry air. Some potentially being from this ridge. But
I guess
as
most
I said,
of it hinges on whether it keeps its composure over that landmass. The Yucatan.
yeah, the Yucatan normally doesn't rip storms up too much. I mean, especially if you get a storm of this side of nature. I mean, say Carl was pretty similar to this. And the Yucatan has probably similar intensity as this will. And that didn't really get ripped up too much. And once it got out of the Bay of Campeche, it just exploded. So the Yucatan really isn't that big of a... This thing isn't passing over Hispaniola. If this thing was passing over Hispaniola, then we could wave goodbye to it. But Yucatan is a lot flatter. It's not as really long as Hispaniola, because storms only come in like this, not like this.
Yep.
And storms don't come in like this over the Yucatan; they go in like this. So it's less land overall, and it's not nearly as many mountains. Really, not much at all.
Captain Will asks us a very general question. Are there any storms that you thought would have been retired but weren't?
Yeah, there's a bunch, but let's just go down on a few. Gordon 1994, Isaac 2012, Emily 2005, Lee 2011. Maybe another storm I can't think of. Maybe even Earl last year. I don't know.
Yeah, I personally think Earl probably should have been retired, honestly.
Alex of 2010, Carl of 2010, Matthew of 2010.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's a Matthew in
The
2010,
list-
believe it or not.
Yeah, that
The
was
list just goes on.
Yeah, it really does. Maybe even Alberto 1994, whatever. There's a bunch.
Oh, no.
But
And
I don't know if the storm would be bad enough to be qualifiable for retirement. I can't say if it would be, because it obviously haven't even formed yet. So
Yeah.
let's go around saying the name Franklin will be retired.
No, don't say that.
I know this may not be like too relevant, but can we see the wind shear map for Noru, where Noru's at?
Oh, no. Yeah, I can pull that up real quick.
Yeah, I just wanted to see that just in case people were curious on like if it was in higher wind shear or not.
Yeah, no, not really at all. The storm's been in really
Wow.
The storm's been in really low wind shear pretty much ever since it became a 5, honestly, and that looks to be continuing here. So wind shear not an issue for Noru. Just to give people a better idea of what this is. Red means stop. Green means go. And
Traffic lights.
So it's good. Just to narrow it down a little bit for those who don't really know.
Man, look at all that wind shear around it though. The wind shear around it is insane. Like that, it's like in like the smallest. It's like in like that awkward pocket of no wind shear, and all around it, the higher wind shear.
Yeah, well, this storm. This is all of this being generated by a monsoonal gyre that the storm itself has been really just kind of laying out from pretty much the Luzon Strait all the way up to almost Hokkaido. And that's a pretty common feature for August, so it's not really too out of the ordinary.
Here's one.
Sometimes-
Here's a one for you. Since Noru formed, there have been 6 other West Pacific storms that have lived and died. It's outlived 6 other storms that formed after it.
Yeah, but look at the ace of all those storms, except for NASAT.
Still impressive, though.
NISAT.
In fact, I could actually pull up this source right here just to show you how much this storm has really just been quite remarkable, actually. If you look at the Northwestern Pacific as a whole, look at these ACE values, like 1.1, 0.9, 2.2, 1.0, 41.8. All these values down here. And just look at this jump right here. Black line is climatology, the blue line is
one storm is responsible. Without Noru, where would we be? We'd be on the floor.
we
Quite literally.
we'd be nowhere, really.
Wow.
And also, and that's just the Western Pacific. If we take a look at the Northern, we are really behind early this month, and then all this activity, not just Noru, but you got Fernanda, you had Hillary, you had Irwin, you had the Atlantic embarrassments, you had some other Westpac stuff. All
So
that,
we're around average now, remarkably.
yeah.
Yeah.
We could just look at the
which
Eastern
is
Pacific,
boring for people like me who look for records.
and we could just look at the Eastern Pacific right here, which that jumped up, mostly due to Fernanda, Hillary, and Irwin. You could look at the individual ACE values here, and then the embarrassment that is the Northern Atlantic Basin.
Here we go.
Look at those pathetic values right there, and that abysmal.
Yeah, but look,
Yes.
till the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 weeks of August there, the ACE value remains very low, and then it jumps. Look at it go.
Yeah,
Historically.
once you get to August 20th, this thing is rockets. Really, I mean, that's when you get Cape Bird storms that cause most of your ACE. And,
So people looking for those Atlantic storms, it's going to be 2 weeks from now, things might start warming up. But that is an average spread amongst 30 years there, so it could happen before or after.
yeah, and another little interesting tidbit, 5 named storms overall equated to an ACE value of 3.7 I observed. And that is the lowest ever recorded for the first 5 named storms of any season in the Atlantic.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we've had 5 named storms, but the ACE value is literally lower than a number of storms. That doesn't say something, I don't know what it does.
Have we reached 1914's ACE value yet?
Probably.
Only just.
See, yeah, we probably did, but, I mean, honestly, the best looking storm this year has been Arlene. I don't know if that's saying anything, but other than that.
An April storm.
April.
We had a question earlier. Let's see. Where'd it go? I've lost it now. Oh, just Jack Boucher saying, is there any storms coming to the UK anytime soon? Well, I can answer that, or attempt to. I wouldn't say storms, I'd just say a lot of more meager weather like this rainfall that's continuing, and colder temperatures. Not very good. Also, California Mapping wants to know if there's any fires going on in California right now. I did notice that there is a significant red flag warning area in northernmost California extending into southern Oregon, but I think our American people will know more about that than I, about any fires in California. But I don't know if anyone here does. You tell me.
There aren't any from what I've heard, but someone else might have heard something.
Let me just check the National Weather Service really quick, I can tell you.
So, Hank, do you know which storm produced more ACE? Hurricane Nadine or Super Typhoon Noru?
Noru. Nadine, let me just check really quick. I have it down as 32.4, And Noru I have down as 41.8.
Also,
Well, that's impressive.
there's a flash flood warning just southwest of Austin, southeast of Austin. Yes, Hank, Austin, Nevada, correct.
Okay, I was about to say, like, what in the world are you talking?
But there are some flash flood watches or flood watches or something of the like. Flash flood watches in northeastern parts of Texas.
Yeah. It's because we're supposed to be seeing a pretty significant trough in the area and produce some significant rainfalls. And that trough could also be a steering factor into the future evolution of PTC 7.
Captain Will thinks that potential tropical cyclone 7 already looks better than Arlene.
Okay. No more, please.
I don't think we can really compare. They're very different in formation and nature and composition.
Actually, talking about flash flood watches, I'm under a flash flood watch.
Wow. Will it
There's
become a
also
warning?
a couple severe thunderstorm warnings scattered across
Yeah,
the central U.S. from like Mississippi to South Dakota.
And as you can see, it's windy at Isaac's place there at the top left. Isaac, how's it going there? Winds still gusting into the 30s, perhaps? Or has he just left his camera static there? Looks like he's done the latter. Well, if you've got any more comments or questions, we're going to finish up in 15 minutes at the end of this hour because we've discussed pretty much everything we wanted to discuss and there's no real news that will be coming in. We may do some more...
Yes.
Hello, some more one moment. More recorded updates, possibly later tonight or definitely tomorrow if PTC 7 becomes named.
Yes.
Yes,
Hello?
Isaac, tell us about the weather there in the last hour.
Gusty winds around 20-25 miles an hour, occasionally 30 mile an hour gusts. Clear day with occasional cloudy weather. Expected to get some more cloudy weather from what Hank said up there. I'm supposed to get some of that cloudy weather and might have an increased chance of rain later on in the weekend.
So there you are, real-time weather updates here from Isaac over there in sort of southern
Corpus
Texas.
Christi.
Corpus Christi. Thank you very much. Well, I think we're almost finished with the business. Is Craig still here?
He probably isn't.
Craig, are you
Not
alive?
doing very well, are we, at the moment? Well, let's see if we can get... you got the latest imagery of PTC 7 and any further observations we can make on it?
Well, actually, I was looking at the movement of PTC 7, and it looks like how it's moving. If it keeps up that movement that it's having, it might go more to the north than what the NHC has.
Which is
There's a risen possibility on what I've noted of it moving more to the north, which could be a bad thing.
I mean, just really quickly, just gonna observe this really here. Look at this outflow. Look how much, look at these, just this exhaust from these thunderstorms just moving out
to improve.
There's no shear in this area. If you can just look at these thunderstorms, they're not being ripped apart at all.
Unabated.
The shear is negligible, really. See this outflow towards the northeastern half of the storm. Honestly, in fact, I'm looking at this right now, and it's looking. If you look really closely, you're seeing some winds coming out of the the northwest that are moving into the storm, and then some winds down here that are coming in from the southwest.
Would any microwave imagery help us right now?
Microwave imagery doesn't really help you determine if there's a close center, but it can if you look closely enough. But really, the details of that are too minute. And if you really quick, I also noticed this little vortex that this spat out earlier.
Yeah.
It's gone now pretty much. I don't think I have to worry about any more of those coming out.
Do you
Really,
think that could have been more of a mid-level center, if anything?
that's definitely at the low levels, but it's
Uh,
probably just it's probably just something that the convection up here just spat it out really quick. There's looks to be something going right in here, and if this current
mhm.
trend suggests, if it continues moving in this general direction, this area of the coast right here is going to have to be marked pretty close to bringing for land. Just to remind you really quick of the National Hurricane Center forecast track, takes the storm into that general area north of the and then
Yeah.
moves into the Bay of Campeche coast of Mexico as a tropical storm, probably a hurricane, really. Um, Remember that the first forecast cones of the National Hurricane Center for storms tend to be conservative because out that far, the intensity guidance is not that certain because intensity guidance is the hardest thing to predict with tropical storms. The track you got down pretty easy. It's the intensity that's really what we struggle with, and that it can be proven by multiple storms. Also, examples that I'm not going to, you can use your imagination to think about what I could be talking about. But, anyways, the storm, yeah, it's in good company right now, and it's
Mm.
Western Caribbean that's favorable. Trades are not that bad. If you look really close here,
And daylight fading there now, Hank. We didn't hear the end of what you said there because it cut off. But who'd like to speak next here?
well,
Well,
I was actually
Oh, I'm sorry.
you
We'll
can
bring
continue.
Orlando in now, though.
Well, I was going to say that it seems like the conditions for PTC 7 to quickly develop is increasing overall because of the lowered shear values compared to where it was earlier today, and the high sea surface temperatures, including minimal dry air in the vicinity. So it's no doubt that it might just turn up sometime in the early hours of tomorrow or sometime tomorrow.
also something really quickly I want to bring up. All this convection right here is pushing air away from it. You can see air is being pushed out this in the upper levels at least. Air is being pushed out to the east right here because from this outflow. It's also being pushed out to the west right here from this outflow. That creates an area of upper divergence over the storm, which is favorable for further intensification because it can allow upper level ridges to form above the low level trough, kind of, the low level center, and it can allow the storm to intensify further because it blocks out any kind of invading factors that could try to inhibit development of the system, including wind shear, dry air, and other upper atmospheric phenomena that could try and disrupt it. And this, yeah, I can't see how this thing couldn't be a tropical storm before it moves into the Yucatan Peninsula, in all honesty. Just needs to close off the center. That's really it.
Yeah. Just to remind everyone of the warnings that are in effect, a tropical storm warning in effect for most of the Yucatan Peninsula, the coast of Mexico, from Chetumal to Campeche, and we've also got Campeche, you say, isn't it? Tropical storm watch in effect for Belize City northward to the border with Mexico. Not very large an area under that tropical storm watch.
Yeah, so as you can see on this graphic, they predict the storm become a tropical storm
Very soon.
by
I don't
tonight.
see why not either.
Yeah,
But it might be pretty difficult for them to detect unless they do a recon flight because it's going to be on infrared imagery now.
well,
think
yeah. You also got a bunch of buoys out here
True.
that help determine. In fact, you just pull this
We
up
won't
really
have
quick.
ASCAT again till I think another 6 hours or so. Maybe
Yeah,
a
so
little
this
less.
is, as 18 says, this is a little bit outdated, so it does show continued westerly trades right here. But the center is probably up in this area right now. And you can see we got multiple little buoys out here, and there's more that you can access online. I can tell you multiple things, such as wind speed, wind direction, sea surface temperatures, dew point, etc., that can help you determine if the center is becoming more defined or defined enough to be classifiable as a tropical cyclone. And at this point, I think it's very close, but not quite.
Well, I think we'll be talking about a new tropical cyclone in the morning.
Probably.
Maybe even late evening.
Yeah.
If anyone's still around. I won't be.
I will be.
Yes. Let's talk to Dane before we finish up here. Any further thoughts on 99L or PTC7?
Not really. Not much other than that. I'm personally not much of a fan of 99L. I don't think it's really going to get anywhere. When it comes to 90L, 90L developing in a tropical storm Franklin is probably inevitable.
Yes. David, what do you think? Any news, first of all, that you've been looking up throughout this hour, and what are your thoughts on PTC7?
I think it'll head up towards Texas.
Oh, you do?
Well,
Yeah,
really?
I don't. The models was indicating the track to the west. I'm going to go for possibly a northwest direction.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get the facts from it.
And for the 99L, don't dismiss it. It's still early days.
It does have a very long time, but at the moment it's going to be in the Western Atlantic, isn't it, before any sort of development is going to happen?
True.
Looking at the models, I highly doubt really that this thing is going to.
Well, look how long it took Hermine to develop from
God.
last year.
I just want to reiterate, I'm just switching gear here on the warnings that are going on in Japan right now. Shikoku, the complete island, under what I'd describe as a typhoon warning, even though that particular description doesn't exist over there in their warning system, and also extends as far east as Aichi province or prefecture, and also the northern coast prefectures of Tottori and Hyogo, with gale warnings for large parts of pretty much the southwestern half of Japan, extending as far east as Shizuoka and Fukui and Gifu inland there. And obviously heavy rainfall is going to be continuing to occur on Japan, which over 9 inches, I think 9 inches or so in an hour, no, not in an hour, in 24 hours occurring yesterday into today, and it's going to be another day of heavy rainfall, mainly for the island of Shikoku and Honshu. Well, we're about to finish up here, guys. Any last thoughts before we finish up, and one last chance for viewers to get the questions in?
Not really for me.
Don't think 90L will hit Texas.
Or PTC.
And if it does, I'll get more out of
sake, those names.
Whatever. It's the same thing.
It certainly is, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think that 90L, or, well, now PTC7, is now a huge threat for the Mexican coastline.
Alright. Well, if you want to send us any comments or questions when we go off the air, you can do. You can go to Facebook or Twitter, search Force13 all in text. You can add Fool13 on Skype, FOOL13, and add extension 9094 on Discord. Thanks very much to the Skype team this evening for joining us for these 2 hours. We'll have more from them probably tomorrow evening. Thank you. And you'll have more from me in the meantime as well, most likely. That's all from us for now. We'll be back again tomorrow. Sorry you couldn't see my face properly, but I am over here somewhere. And from Force 13 HQ and our friends here, good night.